Live on a St. Patrick's Day Friday edition of the program. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. How you living, buddy? Oh, I wouldn't. I mean, you.
How about that?
I know, but I'd be careful.
Fila,
Well-
legend. Fila. There's some people that just get things done, and
Fila's a get stuff done type of guy.
with Gibbe gone, all of a sudden we're like actually free
Hey.
to make improvements.
Right.
And so Fila said, "Here, new chord
You
for
want
you."
you want a cable?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Look at that. How about that?
That's unbelievable.
I mean,
That's
yesterday
a
I was under siege from Blue Flame.
great movie, by the way, Under Siege.
Great.
Seagal,
movie.
Busey,
Would it be
Erica Aliniak.
That's right. I
With
believe
bit
out of a cake.
turn. Out of a bit of a star turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy
Love-
Lee Jones,
He's in everything.
Busey.
Good.
I mean, like,
Did I tell you while I was down in
I don't know if
Arizona?
you did. Let me take notes.
When I was down in Arizona, it was the first night I make it a point when I travel west, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but I make it a point I've got to stay up till at least midnight.
I assume that that's common practice. Of course, I'm the same. You have to.
Otherwise-
otherwise you're not. You can't get on the clock.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
no matter
getting
how
up at
tired you are,
5:30 in the morning,
gotta-
which is
yeah,
absurd.
you've got to push through, and you've got to get there. Yeah,
So-
I don't have a problem with that.
That was my plan. Went out to dinner. The kid had retired early that evening, so I was left to my own devices, and so I was flipping through, and I put on. You mentioned Tommy Lee Jones, which is what sparked this in my mind. Fugitive was on.
Jeez, I mean,
I haven't seen Fugitive in probably more than a decade for sure.
yeah.
What a film. Harrison Ford, tour de force. And then Tommy Lee Jones is just his one-liners, his quips.
I mean,
as
a
it
hard
were.
target search of every outhouse, hen house, courthouse in this area, that whole bit. Also, set
Amazing.
around St. Patrick's Day in Chicago.
In Chicago, which is bringing it full circle.
Let me ask you something. I think it's one of the most rewatchable movies of the last 25, 30 years. If it's in, you're in. It's great a lot. I mean, it's pretty much great throughout. There is one question I want to pose to you since you've seen this.
Okay.
You've seen it most recently.
Okay.
Why? What's the guy who's the adversary? What's his name?
The doctor or the hitman with the one-armed
No,
man?
no. The doctor. What's his name in it?
I don't
What's
remember.
that guy's name?
I don't.
Charles. No, Charles Lentz is the.
Lentz.
No,
Yeah.
Lentz is the other doctor that gets got.
But he's the bad guy.
No.
No. Jane Lynch is in it, by the way, as a doctor,
That's right.
which is incredible.
Julianne Moore. Dr. Charles Nichols.
Charles
Dr. Charles Nichols.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Charles Nichols is the only one who knows the real truth, him and the one-armed man, right? Everybody else, Ford's been convicted, Kimball's been convicted, he's on the run, police are looking for him. Heck, the U.S. Marshals are looking for him, right?
The U.S. Marshals are all over him.
At the time when Tommy Lee Jones sits down with the Dr. Charles Nichols, at the very first time, and he said, "You'll never catch him. He's smarter than me." When have you last time you saw
right.
Dr.
That's who I was
Richard
talking-
Kimball?
Charles Nichols,
And
yeah.
he goes, "Oh, I saw him this morning. Gave a couple bucks. You saw him this morning. You'll never catch him." Why wouldn't Charles Nichols just say, "Actually, I saw him here. Here's where he is. I'll lure him in, and you can just catch him, and then we're done with this."
It's a great-
because he's the only one who knew the real truth of the people who are still alive. Him and the one-armed man. The whole ruse would have kept up. He had won as big as can win. The only way that he can lose in this is if Richard Kimball gets to the truth, and he's just acknowledged that Kimball's smarter than him. Just trap him, and it's done.
It was his arrogance that led him to believe that Kimball, with everything going on, Kimball's running for his life. You think he's trying to solve the crime as well?
Of course he's trying to solve the crime.
Yeah,
he's always
no,
worried.
right.
That's why he went back to
So-
Chicago. He didn't go back to Chicago to flee. He went to go back to Chicago to prove his innocence.
Right, that he did not.
And Charles
kill
Nichols
his
should have
wife.
known that.
Nichols is to get got while giving a speech to a room full of people too. That's a great get got moment.
Provasic. They're trying to sell Provasic. Yeah.
Well, the samples of the pancreatic
Switch the
tissue were the
samples.
same. It was
Switch
all from
the-
the same pancreas.
He switched the samples. Nichols.
Yeah.
Ask him about Lentz.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's right.
amazing, but
Yeah.
it's like that. All you had to do was that, and it's sorted out. Also, the other thing on
Well, and it's also to your point that's glossing over is that he sent the one-armed man to kill Harrison Ford.
I know.
Right, to kill Richard Kimball.
I mean, it was all there for him. Like all you had to do is just have these guys do your dirty work, and then you set.
I also felt
Like
like
safe, pal.
I don't know if you say it, Sela Ward.
Sela Ward.
Sela Ward. I felt like she should have been bigger.
I think it's a common practice with Celia Ward that anybody who sees her performances and her abilities would have said the exact same thing. So she chose a much more life of privacy and is actually a member at a certain club that we've spoken of.
Really?
In Southern California. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Cruises around out there.
I bet still operating at a high level. I feel like she's got wine characteristics.
Yeah, I think it's a win. That's great. What do you? Hey, you got you all jacked up for your St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, but I'm a little bit melancholy, to be honest with you.
Oh, I hate
Arizona.
Not
really,
infinite sadness.
No, not infinite, but a finite amount of sadness that is large. Aaron, what are you doing?
At a minute 20, I knew they were cooked. I texted you and I'm like, it's trouble. Big trouble.
Yeah.
It's cooked. You knew it.
Why wouldn't they give the ball to the leading scorer in the Pac-12?
Well, and then for a team that wants to play in the 80s to be monkeying around in the 50s,
yes,
that's never a recipe for success in March.
Yes. No, I thought it was a ridiculous performance.
Is Arizona basketball similar to like the Braves in that they won one, so it allows for a lot of the misses? Because they've probably, over my lifetime, if I'm to think of one program who has you've blown it boy the most based on the overall talent that's been in the program, it would probably be Arizona. They're the only team to lose to double-digit seeds. I think 5 times they've lost to double-digit seeds.
Aren't they the first team to ever lose as a 2 twice?
Yeah, they're the first team to lose as a 2 twice. Of course, the last time Steve Nash was playing for Santa Clara, so that's a little bit of a different situation. But we didn't know it at the time. Yeah, so they've lost to 50. They're twice 2 versus 15. They've lost the most as a single digit to a double-digit seed.
Okay.
So that's part of it too. So yeah, I mean it's a pretty, but they won that championship. So it's kind of all right because you make that deal and it's okay, but it's pretty brutal. A similar spot is Virginia, who in their last 4 NCAA tournaments, they were the number 1 overall seed. They were bounced in the first round by UMBC. The other 2 times they lost to Ohio, and then they lost yesterday to Furman in one of the most inexplicable finishes of all time. The other time in those 4, they won the national title. So it's like you forgive them for losing all the round ones because you won the chipper.
By the way, it should be a lot easier to find. Give me a list of their results in the tournament right in a row. That should be a lot easier. Okay,
probably on Wiki, right? Or
here we go.
Basketball Reference.
Yes, College Basketball Reference. All right. So when they started getting, you have to understand too, they've only been good since Lute came, which is 83-84. So he comes, and they were not a program of consequence. The year before he comes, they were 9-18, 4-24, 11-17. The last time they had a winning record before Lute came was 1978, which was their first year in the Pac-10.
Yeah.
So he comes in.
I said our lifetime, they've been a team of consequence.
No doubt. But to have that many lost, all the things that you and I have just talked about this isn't like a Kentucky span or
no, it's 40 years. It's a 40+ year
basically
run.
40 years. So once they got going, they lost in the national semifinal. So Final Four in '88, they lost in the Elite 8 in '89, but they have then second round, Elite 8, first round loss, which has to be Santa Clara.
That's 93, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
First round loss again. Then they go to and lose in the Final Four, bounce in the first round the year after that, lose in the Elite 8. Then they win the whole deal.
Yep, as a 4.
Yep, lose in the Elite 8, out in the first round, out in the second round, lose in the finals. That was against Duke in 2000, 2001. Lose in the Elite 8, lose in the Elite 8. So they have had actually some good Elite 8 runs. Out in the first round.
That's Sean Miller.
Yep, now we're still in Lute. We're still in Lute. Out in the first round, out in the Elite 8, out in the second round, out in the first round, out in the first round. Then Russ Pennell for 1 year, out in the Sweet 16. Sean Miller takes over, Elite 8, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Elite 8, first round, Sweet 16, first round, Sweet 16, first round. So they haven't done
10 first-round bounces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking
about a lot
about
of them, they would have been a top 4 seed. So as long as they were a 6 seed or higher, they would have lost to a double-digit seed, and most of those they were.
All right, first round bounces. 3 seed, 2 seed, 5 seed, 4 seed, 9 seed.
Not then.
8 seed, 10 seed.
Not.
6 seed.
Yep.
4 seed, 2 seed.
So they got 7 of the 10 are to double-digit seeds. Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, it's, that's why I said the Braves thing. Like, they won it, So it's like it's okay because they won it. But if they don't win it, then it's a much different feel about it. It's like it's one of the greatest you blew it boys in college basketball the last 40 years.
A lot of Elite Eights, though, which is good,
Yeah,
but not
right.
a
But you want to go. When you have that type of talent where you're that much of a high seed, you should break through.
Right.
And look, it's been 1,500 days.
Final Fours,
Yeah,
one championship.
It's been 1,500 days since Kentucky has won an NCAA tournament game. Like they played it out against Providence.
I would have been like Gibbe and guess the stats on that one.
Yeah,
that's like 5 years.
Correct. But you get bounced. Sometimes you get bounced, and it happens. Like that's the thing with this tournament. Like that's why it's the most fun, but not the best.
Yeah.
It was fun yesterday. I enjoyed the games. I think it's absolutely crazy, for example, that so Houston, whose guard got hurt last night again, Marcus Sasser, Houston got a bit of a challenge from Northern Kentucky, but the real problem is their matchup in the next round is Auburn. So Auburn is the 9 seed. They played Iowa in Birmingham.
Oh, boy.
Iowa's the 8. Mm-hmm. They're giving Auburn the home court in the first 2 rounds of the tournament. I mean, jeez.
That's pretty. That's
what are we doing?
Yeah, that's tough.
It's great, though. I love it. And we'll keep you updated on stuff today. There's action down in Columbus going on right now. Michigan State, USC.
It's a good 7-10 game, right?
Yeah, that's your 7-10. That's a Big Ten matchup.
In the future, right?
Yeah.
Sure is.
Big Ten rivals.
When will that happen?
Michigan State, USC. One more year, and then it's done.
So it begins in 25?
Yeah.
Begins in 25. Okay.
No, 24 for football.
Okay.
Yeah, one more year and then in
Got
football.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Duke and Xavier Xavier and Kennesaw State are going early as well today, and that's 25-25. Michigan State and USC, that one's down in Columbus. That's 34-34 is the score on that. I got to be honest with you. In terms of a football news, there's a couple of our former guys here. I think probably none of this is surprising. We do have Texans tight end Jordan Akins. We're just going to keep that going. Houston to Cleveland, just players bouncing back and forth. He's on a visit here.
Akins
is
the
tight end.
Just real quickly, I think it's clear we've heard of the Browns' interest in Donald Parham, which I would like a lot. 6'8", red zone guy, mad and beast given his size. But he's somebody that Parham would be interesting. But if you go back to Akins with Deshaun Watson had back-to-back 400-yard seasons.
Yeah.
30-plus catches, 400 yards. So last year, 37 catches, 495, and 5 touchdowns with the Texans. So Jordan Akins is a guy who absolutely can help you in the pass game and would be an interesting one. And he's got the familiarity, as I said, with Deshaun.
A couple of our guys finding places elsewhere, new homes. Yelda Froholt going to Arizona on a 2-year deal. Tay Davis to Atlanta on a deal as well. The most noteworthy of these, of course, in terms of, injuries and whatever happened, it's Greedy Williams. So he signs with the Eagles. Obviously, they already have 3 great corners. From my vantage point, he looked like he'd be the 4th over there.
Yeah, he had a rough year, but if you watch his 2021 tape, you'd say this guy should be a starting corner in the league.
Yeah, he's one of those ones that he's the one I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about because at the time of draft and the way that he flashed in his rookie camp, you said to yourself, well, that's a starting corner in the league for a decade.
He was one of the best man corners coming out. He played against DK Metcalf at Ole Miss when he was at LSU and handled him. Yeah, and even like I said, go back. He has the horrific injury.
Yeah.
Which cost him a full season, the nerve injury, and he didn't know if he'd ever play again, and he comes back, and then I remember it was his first game back, or his first start back was week 4 at Minnesota. He got the interception on a great read by him in a cover 3 to go back and pick the ball off and help seal the win over Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. He ended up that year, I think, with 10 passes defense, 2 picks, and then last year, I don't know what happened. The wheels fell off. He gave up a perfect rating in coverage, and then basically was benched kind of halfway through the season and didn't play again.
Yeah.
But he's got the length. He's got the speed.
It's all of the things that you'd want. He looked great. Yeah. I'll never forget that first camp. He just looked great. And, I always enjoyed talking to him, talked to him as much
Very nice guy.
in the last couple of years. But early on, we talked to him a lot. He was in here with us a lot. And the amount of times that we would say, Denzel and Greedy, and we'd go through the 11, and he was always a guy that you thought, well, you don't have to worry about that. And it illustrates how fleeting this sport can be. and how quickly it can turn on a dime.
If I'm not mistaken, it was the very same day in training camp that Grant tore his Achilles and Greedy suffered the injury that you thought was, he'd be back soon.
In
and
a
then
week.
All of a sudden he was not back for the year.
Done. Yeah. No, you're right. That was the same day. Yeah. And I remember neither one of them did it feel like that they were. Meet the Grant one was a non-contact. We didn't even see it because they were all the way over there.
He jumped
we were
2
here.
inches off the ground to catch a pass.
Yeah, and that was it.
Speaking of, and that reminds me kind of the freak injuries you saw, obviously what happened in the World Baseball Classic.
I did.
So sad.
It is, and it's funny. It's been a big sports talk radio thing this week, and it feels like people the World Baseball Classic, how stupid. It could have happened anyway. Like, I mean, he just jumped. That's all he did.
It could have happened in any situation. Number one, he wasn't doing anything.
No,
they were like
jumping, celebrating,
jumping 2 inches. They weren't even.
Right.
They were like more kind of hopping.
Yeah.
And if you think, I remember when the World Baseball Classic started, I had a family friend who was super into it and went to all the games and was kind of had a role in putting it all together. Look at the way they reacted.
Yeah.
To that, like that with World Baseball Classic means something to those countries. Significant.
I think it means a lot to somebody like Mike Trout, who's never played in a meaningful game in his life as a professional baseball player.
Yes.
I mean, you see how much it means to him. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So it does. It means a ton. So it's just sheer dumb luck.
I just also say, quick aside, the variance in the quality of the uniforms in the World Baseball Classic in terms of the design is stunning.
Yeah, I think the Great Britain one's just the worst thing you've ever seen in your life.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. It's interesting. My kind of rule of thumb on American uniforms for international competitions is I think simple is better. So I'm just a big USA block letter guy. Like I don't need you don't need to make the S in USA a flag. Like we don't need all that.
Go back to the McGuire. Remember McGuire's card that year?
That's it. USA. That's what I want. Yeah. USA. That's it.
The red, white, and blue, baby.
You don't do all the nonsense with it, with all the making the U a flag and come on, it's enough.
Love it.
Give me your. So my wife's like, we got to have have Irish dinner. I said they're not going to eat any of it. I'm not going to eat any of this stuff.
They want to eat corned beef?
They don't like it. I mean, do you like corned beef?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
You like it?
I do.
Look at this guy.
Look at those. Look at that. Would you look at that? I was like, what isn't
Where
in
do
your
you
closet?
get that?
Right.
Why did you
What
have
isn't
1
in
day
his
a
closet?
year?
Yeah.
For 1 day a year.
What isn't in his closet? Yeah.
How many days? How many days a year?
Write it down.
That's it. One.
Right. 1 day. 1 day. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Please. I mean,
I don't even know what those. I've never seen those before in my life.
He said they were called leprechauns. But I said when I saw him, I was
There's
like,
a Jordan 4 drop tomorrow that's green that with a gum sole that I like,
Love
but I just
gum.
don't know that I would ever get enough use out of a
where would I
green.
wear it? Yeah.
Where am I going to wear it?
I said to him, "What isn't in your closet? Like what situation,
setup?
holiday, what circumstance do you not have the shoe for?"
And then how many? I mean, I picture something like the stadium wall that's ahead of us. I picture like shelving
Oh yeah,
that long,
clear,
probably 4 of them wide, 4 or 5
I think
feet
each
high.
one's in its own. I think it's one of those situations where you open the thing and the shoes, each pair has its own thing.
like the plutonium in Back to the Future.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you turn it. Yeah,
It comes
Yeah,
out.
it should. He probably does have a smoke effect in there or something
wouldn't
like
be
that.
surprised. Yeah, so I mean, but I guess what I was unfortunately, like as good as the Irish are, and we've talked about our love of Guinness. You and I are both appreciators of Guinness. We've talked about Redbreast and Black Bush and Jameson and all of these things. These are wonderful liquors.
Phenomenal.
But when you talk about the food choices,
Yeah.
eh,
So here's the thing. First of all, 2 things. One, if we're not worried about calories whatsoever, a shepherd's pie is a delightful.
it's a hell of a sell on a 7-year-old though.
Mashed potatoes and meat?
But there's all the others too. You've got the other veggies in there too,
Yeah,
right?
but they're like in there
They're
with
all
a layer.
mixed
It's
in.
covered with a topping of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough sell. I don't love a shepherd's pie. If I'm going to go to anything, if I have to eat this, if I have to eat
Corned
Irish
beef.
food, I'm probably going to do like an Irish stew is probably what I'm going to do. Like
How about a
hearty
Guinness
Irish
braised
stew.
beef stew with some little baby carrots?
That's what I would do is that with
What's
the
wrong with that?
pearl onions.
Pearl
for
onions?
me. I'm saying that's for me. Like the kids, that's a bit of a tougher sell. They eat a lot, but that's. I mean, don't give me that look. Look at you. You know how difficult this is.
Hold on
with
one
the children.
second. Hold the phone. I have two.
I
One
would-
who
I
eats
would like-
absolutely everything,
Right.
100% of everything.
Okay, right.
And one who eats
But you know-
0%.
You know the opposite. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
mine are all in the middle.
Yeah.
So like the idea of like some things that I could push through,
I think a
That's
beef
tough.
stew sounds delightful.
to me it does.
Corned
To me
beef,
it
yes.
does.
And by the way, I do like corned beef.
I like it, but I would never order it. Like I eat it one day a year.
So you've never
I've never been at a restaurant and been like, God, give me a corned beef
So you
as my entree.
you've never at any point in your life lunched at a great Jewish deli and had like a corned beef sandwich?
Well, I've had a Reuben,
Okay. That's
which
pastrami.
can pastrami.
Yeah.
You know, I like I've had a Reuben, but no, I guess if I've ever been to a deli, when I've been to a delicatessen, I usually gravitate more towards the turkeys and that word. Or
But I'm
I'll
talking
go like
specific, like a Jewish deli. You've never gone like into New York and eaten at the famous Jewish delis of New York, or even Corky's here.
no,
Oh man,
I haven't. I've been to delis. I've been to delis in New York. What's the one that's Cats? I've been to that
Yeah.
one. I've been there.
And you didn't get a corned beef?
No. I think I got a turkey.
You got to try a corned beef sandwich before you. I'm not trying to go and just have
So what do I
slices
gotta
of
have?
corned beef.
Well, so it's on rye?
So you could do it
Corned
on
beef
rye.
on rye with what? What else am I putting on it
You could-
to make it work?
you could put
Cabbage,
You could put barbecue sauce on it.
barbecue sauce on
Yeah.
corned beef.
Yeah. You could put a little. This is what I like. My favorite is a corned beef on latkes. But this I haven't had this in a long time because that would be. It is well, how do you say? It is gluttonous.
Yeah,
So it's latkes are the bun,
yeah,
which is for those who don't know is kind of like a fried potato pancake,
yeah,
and
Then the corned beef.
and you put a little applesauce in there, and it is outrageous.
yeah. No, haven't. Got nothing.
So you're missing out on that because you're thinking in my mind you're picturing like corned beef and cabbage, right? Which is
Yeah,
like
that's
the
the
corned
thing.
beef just kind of sliced.
I mean,
up,
I've seen corned beef
super
sliced
salty.
up on. Yeah,
No, the sandwiches aren't
Very
like
tuned
that. You
up,
get an extra
like a-
lean sandwich,
Yeah.
delightful.
yeah. I just if I'm ever gonna have
Jack's Deli, another
corned
great
beef,
one
I
on
would
the
always
east
do
side.
it with more of the. I would probably always go more the way of like, the corned beef Reuben. Or
So
whatever
here's
that's called.
what we're gonna do.
No, we're good. I think.
Here's what we're gonna do.
I'm not craving it. I just want to be abundantly clear.
Here's what we're doing.
I'm just trying to get through it.
When
I'm gonna have a
you-
Guinness tonight.
When you
I'm
produce
probably gonna have a Black Bushmills.
this
enjoy myself.
transformative turkey,
Yeah.
I'll bring you.
You're bringing it?
I'll bring you like a good corned beef sandwich.
All right. We'll slice it up and see how it goes.
Yeah.
One quick piece of advice for the parents out there. We have AP here joining us here in the wings, so we'll get to him momentarily. I had
Fila in here.
Bootsy. Well, I'd love to
Tequila
get Fila.
Fila.
Tequila Fila needs to be in here.
Yeah.
I had a Bootsy has a Boston Celtics full
Beautiful.
warm up.
I mean, this
So
thing
it's-
you're wearing spectacular, by the way.
It was a gift.
I'm sure. Threes.
The painting was a gift, Todd. He Bootsy comes down in a full Celtics warm up, right? The thing's
it.
unbelievable
Uh-huh.
that he's had for a while. So he comes down in that. So this is the first time he's ever worn it. Like he's always been a little hesitant to wear it. So he comes downstairs in it. And my wife goes, "You look so cute." And he goes, "That's it. I'm changing." Straight back. Now, he wore it. He ended up wearing it. So I told my wife, I said, all you got to do is just insert cool for cute
Yep.
and
Or-
problem
Or
solve.
you look great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Because cute, he's going to be like, I don't want to
wanna
be
be
that. I
cute.
don't want to be a leprechaun.
What am I, a bunny?
Not doing that. I'm a man here.
Well, man, right.
Yeah.
When you said a Celtics warm up,
Yeah.
can you era? Can you give me an era? Are we talking like a Larome
Yeah.
with a
it's
short sleeve and a collar?
that would. I mean, if I had, I would wear one of those right now.
Same.
Wear one. In fact, I might order one in the break. No, it's probably more of a. I mean, this is. I think I got it for him. I don't know, a couple of years
So
ago.
recent. It's whatever.
Yeah,
was
it's
that
recent.
year's.
Yeah.
one.
It's a Nike.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It
Okay.
just has the Celtics clover leaf, and that's the operation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why
Gonna be
don't
good.
they have those sweet ones with collars anymore and like short sleeve? I mean, those are
Doesn't
great.
Mitchell and Ness make that?
I don't know if they make the warm ups. It's hard to come across warm ups like that. I have Arizona's from the year that they won the title because I bought it that year. So
Oh,
I
here
still
you
have
go.
Arizona's shooting shirt from that year and the warm up jacket, which was awesome. That was
Yeah,
back when they used the Dazzle fabric was
That's
everywhere.
what you're talking right there.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's
what I'm
what you're
talking.
talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so Mitchell and Ness did make some.
Okay. I feel like it's going to end up.
I don't know if I'm going to. I mean, this one even has bird on the back.
I'd like
My
you to wear
God.
that for Transformative Turkey and Hoops this summer.
And then we're going to do the corned beef.
Yeah, maybe.
Come over with your sandwich, slice it up.
Yeah.
All right. AP is here. We'll get his thoughts on free agency and also St. Patrick's Day. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We'll go around the league. I can be honest, it's quiet. It's very quiet today on the Western Front. In fact, you could say all is quiet. Browns mailbag coming up at 2 o'clock. Get your questions
Ask us
in.
anything. They can ask anything they want.
Ask, yeah, please. I mean, do not limit us to put no fence around this.
No.
There's no sandbox to play in.
Unfenced.
The sandbox is the Sahara.
Your questions are
unleashed. You could say that. Absolutely, you could. Good job out of you. So you can get those. We'll get those at 2 o'clock. We'll take
Tequila Vila loved that.
Did he love it?
Oh, dying.
I don't care if he's the only one who did.
It would be.
I do a whole show just
if
for
we
that
were
kid.
like if you had to read what was happening, no pictures. He was guffawing.
Oh my God! What a real treat. What a real treat. Yeah. We'll tell you, kind of give you a status report of where we are in the AFC North as well. Now that 1 week of free agency is done, we're off and running on a Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. It's St. Patrick's Day, Scarlett. Yeah, where is his? Well, that's just because I think Notre Dame is. Haven't they put it on Clemson a couple of times now? Could have been. That's why his. Are you on? I can't tell if you're on.
Hello.
Now you're on. There you go.
Yep.
There's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns to help your favorite four-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. AP's here.
Which is a treat.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy Friday, guys. And, of course, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, thank you. I like that. We're going to give you green for that.
I know. Yeah, I slipped this on walking out and realized.
It's an olive drab.
In real world, I wouldn't let it count.
No, this is.
That's more of a military.
It's an olive drab.
Okay. Well,
This
if I would
is
have known
a green
it,
here.
if I would have known it wasn't passable by both standards, I would have turned my car around.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
Murph's
we
got
have
one
real
on that says
standards on this
Murphy's.
show. Does he have one?
Yeah, he's got a green shirt on that says Murphy.
Yeah,
Look at the
he's good.
enthusiasm he's walking through life today.
I mean, I look like a real zest.
Really did. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Someone says that we should have had a spoiler alert on the, honest to God, on The Fugitive? I mean, that's like 91,
Hold
man.
on a second. Who said that? They out them. I need a name.
No, I don't want to.
You can the movie's at
It's
least
30 years old, man.
yes.
Like, I'm sorry.
the movie's probably older than AP.
what?
There's no question. The
I think it
Fugitive?
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Older
there
than
cannot
90,
be a
yeah.
spoiler.
So there can't be a spoiler. There's a statute of limitations on
Whoa,
spoilers.
wait, someone just said, no way.
You can't do that.
No,
Mark
no,
also
no.
saying mustard on a corned beef sandwich on rye is the only way.
well, you know I can't do that.
Why don't you like mustard?
I detest mustard.
Come on.
What do you mean?
I'm not
I
a
knew you
mustard
didn't
guy
like
either.
cream and mayo. I mean, I
hate
knew
mustard.
that.
You know why?
You didn't like mustard?
Well, first of all, if we're being honest about it, mustard doesn't taste that great.
Oh, I like it on certain things.
Okay, and
I like a nice.
my dad would be like, "You go." I'd get when I was a kid. We go to the A's games. I'd get a hot dog and I'd put ketchup on it. Why? Because there's sugar in ketchup, and as a kid, boy, you like the taste of that. So I'd have, and he would go nuts at me.
Why?
So,
Why would he care if you put ketchup on it?
You can only put mustard on a hot dog.
Says
no.
who?
Him, the arbiter
I
of
guess
truth.
there's
So
no-
at that point, I'm like, you know what?
God, his yolk.
You can take your mustard and you can shove it, brother, and I'm not going to eat it. You can have all
So
the
out of
mustard
spite.
you want. No mustard.
Latte
Now
Larry's.
I've had at times a honey mustard is fine, but
Yeah.
that again makes it not really taste like mustard. But the notion that I would put some Grey Poupon or a Dijon or a Stadium Brown or whatever,
Yeah,
0%.
no chance. So if you go to
Like wasabi is the closest thing I like to mustard in the world.
Okay.
That is even
Wow.
mustard.
even like the fair. You know the Thomas Keller of the French Laundry fame out in the Napa area on the whole roasted chicken recommends a mustard.
and I will do that on, or a pork loin.
Yeah.
I'll rub it with mustard because it doesn't taste.
Well,
You don't
okay,
taste
no,
the mustard.
he's not saying rubbing it with the mustard. He's saying it's almost like you then
Oh, no,
you,
no.
you put a little. It's the ones when they're like still the little balls
Yeah, no.
before it
gross.
turns into like French's or ballpark or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like a stone ground or whatever.
Yeah, like you'll do
still
that.
no.
Do that on a roasted chicken.
No, like when we make beef soup, the famous Cigar family beef soup. As a kid, my dad and then my nana would also have the beef when they
Yeah.
cut that up with a little bit of mustard on it, and I'm like, no, gross.
And you would okay.
Not a mustard guy.
No mustard, no eggs, no crema.
No, in fact, I had the
No
conversation
mayo.
this morning. I met the great Minister Box was in town. He's in town. One of the guys he went to high school, his father, one of his friends from high school, who's now my friend as well. The guy's father passed away. So very sad. Shout out to the Miller family. Thinking of you guys. Condolences. And so I got to see Minister Box this morning. And he ordered 3 eggs, which everybody gave him a lot of grief for. They said, you can only order 2 eggs. He's like, well, I got 3. And
Good for
then-
him, by the way.
Yeah. Have as many eggs as you want.
Who are you to limit my egg consumption?
Yeah, and by the way, they turned out to be small eggs, so he felt that these 3
it's
were like a
fine.
normal 2, so in their faces. But yeah, he was like, "What do you mean you don't have eggs?" I'm like, no eggs.
But you don't mind them cooked those much. It's the hard boiled that sets you off.
I wouldn't eat a cooked egg either.
No, I know, but it's the one that makes you run for the hills is the hard boiled. Like you could sit.
Out.
You and I could go out to breakfast.
I've said
before
on
we
this
have the
show-
transformational turkey, we could go out to breakfast. I could get an omelet. You could get whatever you would get.
Oh, I could.
You'd be
I
fine.
sat there and watched everybody eat eggs.
Yeah,
All
but
3 of the
if
guys
I
ate
came
eggs.
out with 2 hard boiled,
Out.
you're gone.
I said on this program, and I stick by it. I would rather try to eat a piece of dried dog feces than eat a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah, I remember.
I think I would agree with you. I'm not a hard boiled guy either. No.
No, I am like.
This is like your son.
No.
It's good.
He's
He's
aligning
coming
with a
along.
lot
I'll
of
tell
good
you what,
things.
he's coming along. He's coming along.
What are your reactions to free agency, AP?
Is that what do you we call that a capital T transition?
Well,
Or-
it
I'm
is
just-
a, it
it says.
is a big T transition. It's what it says here. Welcome back, AP. Welcome.
Yeah.
What are your reactions?
Thoughts and reactions to
Yeah.
free agency.
Thoughts and reactions.
I
don't
feel
want
like
just your
going
reactions.
into this after talking about Mustard is just like.
I don't want
crazy,
just your
but-
See, the
thoughts.
key to this, and this is what you'll learn if you keep coming in here. We'll teach you how
Yeah.
to be a big B. You just seamlessly transition from mustard, mayo, and eggs
Yep.
right into it.
Yep.
All right, so
that's
I'm
the
going to start
show.
talking about free agency now.
Okay.
No, I like what they've done. I think they found a lot of guys who are going to fit into the schemes that we've learned that Jim Schwartz is going to most likely implement into this defense. You bring in a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson. He's been fantastic against the run over his career, and it seems like he'll have this will be the right kind of system for him to also maybe increase his productivity rushing the passer too. And then you bring in a guy like Agbo Okoronkwo. He was complete stud in the second half of last season.
Yep.
I think that was one of the sort of hidden gems in this free agent class, and the Browns were able to pick him up based on what he was able to do, and he just finally started getting starts for the first time in his career. I can't wait to see what he's able to do when, you keep going back to just thinking about what Jim Schwartz is going to do, lining these guys up,
Yeah.
spacing them out a little bit more, giving them more space to, use a wider range of pass rush moves and get around some guys. And, it's be interesting to see who else they kind of add, because I think, this is kind of still very incomplete, right? I mean, we're only a week into this now, and there's still some spots that I think they could fill. I think they could get another big name DT potentially, or at least one of the other bigger name DTs that are still on the market right now. Always the possibility of trades too, and then we still haven't even done anything on the offensive side of the ball yet. I think they're going to get a speedy receiver at some point. Who knows how that's going to happen? You've heard, I'm sure you guys have discussed a lot of things. Mecole Hardman's still out there, the Elijah Moore trade talks and everything. So I think that's the one biggest thing that they need to do on the offensive side of the ball. But so far, I think it's been pretty smooth for them. So.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, but our friend of the program, Mr. Albright, said that the Cowboys are the leaders in the clubhouse. The Browns and the Patriots have all been hot on the heels of Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, a bidding war is not going to do us any favors.
No, we're not. We're not in a bidding war.
No ones, so you're not going to.
I think though, and it would be possible to see, if that's what they said. If that got to Albright, that was gotten to Albright for a reason, which makes me think they're not getting what they want yet.
You look at what Judy's done. I mean, obviously a very exciting player when he first got drafted, but you look at his numbers. I don't know if that warrants a first-round pick.
Well, we would never do it. The question is, do you give 42 for it?
Right.
For Jeudy?
I would.
I would.
I think
Did you
I
look
would- I
over
would
the here's the thing and I was actually having this conversation yesterday with somebody, and they're like, Jerry Judy's garbage.
42 and a dude.
I don't
Not
think
a
it'd
dude.
be 42 and
42
a dude.
and a player?
Maybe.
I wonder what they
who
need.
knows?
What do they need that we have?
I don't know.
An abundance.
I
I'm
mean, I
not
think
throwing
they
away
have a lot in
anybody
it
on
still,
this
but-
roster. What I'm saying is, here's the thing to know about.
Oh, get reckless. Throw somebody.
I'm not. No, I love all of. I love all of our. I love everybody on this team. Jerry Jeudy last year, career high 972 yards, 67 catches, career high 6 touchdowns, 14.5 a catch. But you got to dive into it. So once the season was about
Yeah, he finished strong.
halfway through, not even halfway through, they switched his position. And they took him a little bit more out of the slot, more onto the outside where he was as a true number one. And once they did that, in the first 6 weeks of the season, he had one game with more than 50 yards, more than 60 yards receiving. Then they make the switch. 7 for 96, 6 for 63 and a touchdown, 4 for 65, 8 for 73 and 3 scores, 7 for 76, 6 for 117. He had one down game against Kansas City, 7 for 38, and then 5 for 154. So once that happened, he was over 60 in every game. He was over 70 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, over 93 times, over 100 twice, and caught 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He was cooking. Like, that's consistent, good. 70 yards a game is good wide receiver play.
And
Coach,
that's
I said I would do it in a second. You have to convince me.
Yeah.
I'm in.
and that's still when Russell Wilson was not playing like the Russell Wilson that we saw before last year.
Correct.
And Jerry Jeudy's played with nothing but, frankly, terrible quarterback play his entire career. So,
oh, God, yeah.
I still don't think the numbers and everything will merit a first-round pick for him. Maybe a team will
No.
change that, but at 42, I would be willing to give that up. I mean, we need. I think they just need another good receiver.
Weapons,
Judy's
man.
going
Gotta have weapons.
I like what we've done on the defensive side of the ball, and I think we could now go out there and we have a lineup that we could roll out and play with. You know, that we'd say, okay, who's starting at defensive tackle 2?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. You hope that it's Perrion because I think Perrion has so much talent, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
Everything else, I feel like we pretty much do know on the defense side of the ball. Certainly the back 5 set, your ends are set, your linebackers are starting to take shape, and there could be more work there.
Yep.
But you have a team now that you could roll out there with the signing of Juan Thornhill.
Yeah.
Offensively, you're basically bringing everybody back from a year ago.
And hoping that just Deshaun, it's
elevates. But my ultimate point is this is a league where you've got to score to win. Playing defense is fine and dandy. And yes, it's important at times. But if you can't consistently score, you're not going to win, and you're certainly not coming out of the AFC.
Yeah, exactly. When you have a year when you really only have 2 receivers that are doing all the work in the wide receiver room, obviously we know who those guys are, DPJ and Amari. It's just if you want to elevate the offense, you've got to be able to bring a third guy in who can at least just distract somebody, right? And have a reason to distract somebody, which is why I think somebody like Mecole Hardman would also be a good sign. He's a guy who's fast, and that would do a lot of things as far as taking the top off the defense. How many times did we see Deshaun throw deep last year? It wasn't a whole lot.
Not often.
And the one deep ball that I can remember was picked off, was the poor pass that was the DPJ against the Bengals. So
let's play a guess the stats. How old do you guys think Jerry Jeudy is right now? Going into his 4th year in the
I have
league.
his page pulled up, so I won't look at his thing. But
I think he's only like 24.
is he? I think he's like 23.
He's 23.
Yeah.
Came into the league at 21.
So, yes, fine,
So,
in.
Yeah.
Like I would take Jeudy for sure.
And who threw to him?
Exactly.
Like,
it was Drew Lock
I
and
mean,
Russell Wilson. It was
Right.
terrible.
And Wilson was terrible last year, and before that, it was Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, jeez.
Yeah.
I'd do it in a second.
Yeah, exactly.
I would do it in a second,
Yep.
and I think you need to.
I agree.
think you need to. I think you're right. You could. We've talked about this 1,000 times. Yes, you could run this team out there right now, and you're better off than you were a year ago. Everybody would agree with that. But you're not just doing that.
Yeah.
You're trying to roll out a team that can beat Kansas City and beat the Bills and beat whatever the Jets turn into and the Bengals and everything else. So you can't just be better than you were. You've got to be exponentially better so that you can beat those teams. And I think the minimum requirement is another weapon offensively.
And I think regardless of how the rest of this offseason and free agency goes and who else they're able to get and everything, that second-round pick is going to have to be an impact player, somebody who you can plug in somewhere week 1, and at least by the middle of the season is going to be like a darn good contributor. And I think that's if you can trade that pick to get a guy who you know is going to be able to do that already because he's shown in the NFL, at least maybe not consistently, like that's what we were talking about with Jeudy, but you know the talent and stuff is there. He's proven it at some level at the NFL
He could
level.
be a 1.
And
he could be an actual 1.
And I just think it's a no-brainer. Anybody who's against the Jeudy pick, I've honestly just been like, what? Like you can't really be that choosy here. Like you need to get a guy like Jeudy if he's out there for 2.
That rookie year of his is wild. 113. He's 21. 113 targets, 52 receptions.
Yeah. He hasn't really played with anybody.
Like they were. That's like shotgun accuracy.
Yeah.
Spraying it all over
Spraying
the
it
place.
all-
It's
yeah.
unbelievable. 16 and a half a catch, including a 92-yarder in that rookie year. So yeah, I'm for it.
I'm
I'm
Jeudy.
absolutely for it.
Yeah.
Totally for it. Inject that in my veins. And if not, listen, the fact that Mecole Hardman hasn't signed anywhere yet means that there is not a ton of action there, right? In terms of coming off of the injury. He just had surgery. I feel like you could probably get him at a pretty reasonable price on a 1-year deal. Like, why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
It's not going to take much of the cap space. I mean, it's
No, that's what I mean.
even if you get Hardman and somebody else, it's like even better. Like it's now you got 4
More
reliable
weapons.
guys.
I'm for all the
And I'm
weapons
fine
of the
kicking
world.
the tires. Like I was trying to look through the list of free agent receivers because there isn't a big name that you would even really want. Did Chark go somewhere?
no,
Not
he's
yet.
still out there.
He's
still
out there.
out there.
It's just the injury-prone nature of him is tough. If they're going to go like on a league minimum, like a Marquise Goodwin,
Yeah.
that guy every year catches 3 bombs for touchdowns. I mean, just every single year. He's a burner, but that's it. He's a total one-trick pony. I don't think Hardman gives you so much, not only in the vertical game, but in the horizontal game.
Yeah.
Especially in the red zone. He's a real weapon on those jets and all of that. I would love to see it. I mean, I think that you've got, and I'll count Chief a little bit as a receiver, right?
Yeah.
But the way that our guys all operate, Chief, DPJ, and Amari, if you have a safety that has to worry about somebody,
Exactly.
now you get man coverage. They can all beat man coverage. Amari's one of the best in the league against it. And then you just create space for Chief to operate in the middle of the field, for Donovan to operate, for Amari on those long, deep overs. You know, Space matters.
Yeah, that's what that's just what they didn't have last year. We did not see
No.
deep balls. We did not see a defense looking afraid that the Browns were going to throw the ball more than 40 yards down the field.
The only time I ever saw anybody scared was that one play against Pittsburgh when Darden ran that post, and they were kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then we got a 30-plus yard completion to Amari, who's wide open.
Exactly, and they did
we
that.
need that.
They did that with Jalen Darden. Like there
Right.
are better receivers out on the market right now that you can way better receivers you can get out on the market right now that are going to make defenses way more afraid of what you're
Yeah.
able to do downfield.
Favorite Irish dish?
Irish dish. Can I say beer? I've mainly like you guys were just talking about Irish dish.
None of it's great.
I was gonna say like I don't know if I really have a favorite Irish dish.
No
that
corned beef for you?
They make it work.
A Guinness stew? No.
Guinness stew's probably the best answer.
Guinness
I
stew's
think
a great
that's probably
answer.
That's probably the win.
I mean,
Shepherd's pie. I had one at my buddy Brecka Lane's house fall break, sophomore year of college. I haven't forgotten it to this day. It was
Have you
the
had
best
one
shepherd's
since?
pie. No, probably not. But it was amazing. It was so good.
It was so good you haven't had it in 20 years.
Well, where am I getting it?
Exactly. Because no one's ordering.
Well, I'm
it.
not eating, but I also like.
You're either going to
don't
but I mean,
eat mashed
if it was
potatoes.
something that was the most transformational, like
Yeah,
for
it was
example, like a
good.
turkey, it would be on restaurant menus. It's not. You have to go to like Irish
Well, because
pubs
it's like right, exactly.
because it's
It's not high class
nobody
food.
wants it.
Well, and I'm not trying to eat mashed potatoes. If I have mashed potatoes, it's because
Right,
it's
but you could
prime
go.
rib.
You could go to a white tablecloth tonight, and I guarantee you'd have mashed potatoes, but they would not have
on
shepherd's
every
pie.
menu.
No.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's the way that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go Guinness. That's fine.
I was gonna say I'm
Smittix.
going with Guinness. Yeah, I mean I think
What is that? Which is that? The cream one?
Guinness. I mean, like there's Murphy's, and then like Smittix is like I think that's in the Irish cream fam. I think it's in the Murphy's family.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Smittix.
I
is.
love eating.
It's spelled Smithwick's.
Right.
That's what it looks
I
like,
like
but
that
it's
one.
Smittix.
Smittix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
of
the one.
course.
yeah.
All right,
But
good
it's
job
not
to
as
you,
dark
AP.
as a Guinness. It's a lighter.
No.
It's a
yeah,
golden.
No, but they do have one that is a Guinness
Yeah.
in
Guinness-
appearance.
listen,
but
we'll
why
just-
go off the Guinness?
Guinness is Guinness. It's great.
Hey, you remember when we would play the Fergal Murray? Remember that guy? Who
Oh,
showed you
God.
how to pour the Guinness?
Yeah.
We
What
gotta
happened to
we gotta
that?
find that.
He's great.
All right, we got to get Paulus. I'm gonna send you a link, and then we got to play this at some point in the next hour of the show.
Just for the people.
Fergal
Yeah, we'll
Murray,
do.
How to pour a Guinness. All right, we got to get that done. Good job at UAP. Go around the
It's
league.
great.
Coming up next, Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Tana reaching out.
Let's put him on the air. He's a beer expert.
Smithix is a red ale.
Red ale, perfect.
He reports that he went to Ireland on the factory tour and hasn't found one stateside that's even come close.
Oh, boy.
That's that superior, which makes sense.
So it's the perfect.
Yeah,
it's
and he says the highlight of a trip for his father-in-law was his shepherd's pie. Nathan is right. It's everything you want in a meal.
See? Thank you, Fontana.
There's nothing like anecdotal evidence.
Yeah, it's
that
great.
just overwhelms anything else.
I'm telling you.
I've had a shepherd's pie. Don't act like. I mean, I know what a shepherd's pie is. I've had one.
Put it this way. It's one of those moments and on that trip, I was almost eaten by an alligator. And the thing that I remember the most was that shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, it's a fine
I like
thing.
it. I like that you're not even going to say, well, how were you almost eaten by an alligator?
You've told me the alligator story before on the alligator.
I've almost been eaten, and I actually
Wait
was
a second.
almost eaten by a tiger.
Nathan, you were almost eaten by an alligator?
That's right. Nope, that's it. No, you heard it before.
No, I want to hear it. Tell us again. Tell the people again. Regale us with your tales.
Oh, man. Boy,
Papa Burgundy?
It was a tough one. I'll tell you what. Terrifying
It was a
scene.
stormy night.
It was a terrifying scene. We were operating jet skis on the on lakes in Orlando, Winter Park actually, I think, is where we were.
Yeah.
We were.
You got to be careful. I mean, Lakes Orlando. You could already tell how this was going.
We were sharing a lake on this day with one Carrot Top.
The.
He
lifts weights.
Now I don't know if he did then.
You're not sure then?
This was a long time ago. We're talking. The year is 1997.
Okay. All right.
Long story short, our jet ski starts to malfunction.
Okay.
You know, on those wave runners, there's kind of like that where your feet go. It's kind of cut out so water can get in there, and so water is getting in there. And I look down by my foot, and what do I see? Do you remember the story? Do you remember what I see by my foot?
I'm emailing Paulus the thing. Tell the people. Just tell the people. You have the audience.
What I see by my feet, folks, is none other than a baby gator. This big.
Just a wee little fella.
Gator.
But that means something else usually.
That means, as Brett Gillane told me, when I was like, oh my God, guys, there's a little baby gator here. When I saw the homeowner's look of panic on his face, I began to panic.
That's right.
So he's like, there supposedly is this big gator in this lake or whatever, but it obviously doesn't bother anybody. But I think if you are taking its baby, maybe it would be more inclined to bother you.
Wouldn't be enthused.
So I start panicking. You know what happens to start panicking on a jet ski? Now you're unstable. Now I'm going to fall in probably right into the waiting jaws of this gator and be eaten. So I did the only thing I could do once I regained my balance. I got the little baby by his tail and flung him away, and then sat there and waited for the boat to come get me. And because I was trying to wave them down, they're laughing.
The jet ski was broke down?
Yeah, it broke down.
Did you run over something with it?
No.
Just broke down.
It turned out it was out of gas.
Not ideal.
Wasn't my jet ski.
No, but I would.
I didn't know it was out.
You didn't look down and saw where we're at?
Yeah,
just
no.
said the hell with it. Caution to the wind.
We're going.
Dicey.
Yeah, so almost
dicey
eaten.
Spot.
At least
jet
I wasn't
skiing anywhere in Florida is dicey.
I wasn't in its jaws like I was with the tiger.
Freshwater.
It felt like it, because then you look at the water and I can't see anything. You're like, it's right there waiting to eat me.
Well, it could have been.
As a child, I had a recurring nightmare that at the aquarium in San Francisco, that the way that it was set up in the Hall of Reptiles was you'd walk in and there'd be all these exhibits around the outside, but the middle was like cut out like 10 feet below, and there were like giant gators and crocodiles in there. And I'd have a recurring nightmare that either I'd fall in there or I'd upset Pedro and he'd like gorilla press slam me in there, and then they would all feast on me. So I always had this fear of being eaten by an alligator.
What'd I do?
Yeah.
That's enough, Nate.
You boys have him.
Nana's going,
lunch.
What have you done?
Yeah.
I'm sick of him. I threw him in with the
So
gators.
I have the Guinness, and Fontana just joined. So we'll get him on.
All right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
give us
Fontana, the authority.
So you
Guys,
were
how's it
in
going?
Ireland. You did the
Guinness factory tour.
Wow.
So I've done this before with I've done this with the at the Coors Distillery in Golden.
I've done it with wines.
and certainly with wines, and then with some of the whiskeys. But the Guinness, what made it so different, sir?
It was the temperature. For some reason, it was just nice and cold. And granted, there's a lot of great Irish bars in town, and I've searched, I've looked, I've tried.
God bless
and
you.
it was something about I don't know why, it just was colder. And like everybody tells you that sometimes Guinness can taste like a milkshake. I never thought that until we were in Ireland at the factory, and I go, this tastes like a milkshake, like that. And I really think it was the temperature that did it for me.
That's unbelievable. And give me the
Wow.
shepherd's pie scouting report on
So
the
that
shepherd's pie. What made it so great?
I think it's just more the ambiance, right? Like you're there, so it has to be good. And it was, so we took our in-laws as like a thank you for paying for our wedding. So we went over, and that's the only thing my father-in-law wanted to do. He goes, I just want to find, so we did 3 cities while we were there. And every city, we'd ask people, where's the best shepherd's pie in town? And we would try that. Usually it was a bar, too. Like, that was a cool thing. It wasn't a restaurant. It was just a bar.
Pub.
And, pub. Exactly. And it was, like Nathan was saying, how could you, it's everything that's good, and then you just put mashed potatoes on top of it. It's great.
So you got, what's in it? You got burger, carrots, cabbage, onions,
Onions,
mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes,
That's
gravy. You got to put pour a little gravy on top.
If you got a little gravy, that's
Little
going to be
gravy.
that's a bit of a game changer if you go there.
Of course, you got gravy.
Yeah.
And he did have one that it was in like a pie crust. So you put all of that inside of like a pie crust and then a flaky crust. Exactly.
Stop
And then you
it.
pour
Stop it.
there.
Hey,
Do you-
go ahead. I was saying, Fontana, as the beer expert of the program,
Yes.
what's the one that's like a Guinness but it's blonde?
So they have, so
Well, there is a Guinness blonde.
It's
a
not
Guinness
a Guinness.
blonde.
It's a different company, but
There's Harp. That
Harp.
one is
That's
Harp's
gotta
an
be what you're
ale.
thinking
No,
of.
Harp's like a regular
Harp is
beer.
an ale. Yeah,
Harp's
Harp's
an
an ale because
There's-
most people get Harp, Smittix.
There's
you
one
know.
that is similar to Guinness, but it just is. It's like a cream colored as opposed to. But it's the same thing. The whole does all the fun
I got
stuff.
nothing.
I don't know. I'm gonna look this up.
I got nothing on that.
Somebody
I'm-
help
I'm
me.
in-
Somebody out there
I'm
knows what I'm
intrigued.
talking about.
And Fontana's the
Well,
expert
you
on
can
this
make.
stuff. This is
Are
his
you talking
wheelhouse.
about? Are you talking about like a black and tan?
No,
'Cause you guys ever had
that's
those
a Guinness
before?
and a Harp.
That's a Guinness and a Harp.
Yeah.
Right, and then you can make one. They have, I think it's the blacksmith is Guinness and Smittix, which is delicious because we had a lot of those while we were over there too. You know, because they pour them, and actually they make, because we got one on the trip. They make this little. It's a metal like sphere, not sphere, but a circle, and then it's got the holes in the middle. So when you pour in your beer, you can then pour your Smittix on top of it, and it like perfectly makes a black and tan or a blacksmith or kind of whatever type of combo you're trying to do.
I think it's a Kilkenny Irish cream ale.
That sounds right. Yeah,
You
that
said it,
sounds
man.
right.
That sounds right.
You said
I
it,
couldn't
brother.
said anything.
Good job out of you, Fontana. As
Yeah.
always,
Appreciate it,
your
guys.
expertise.
Oh, it was a lot of
Tremendous
fun.
insights.
I enjoyed the conversation on my drive.
This is the great Matt Fontana.
Yes.
The best. All right, we're going to do a little mailbag coming up next, some frivolity in case we haven't done enough of that. That's coming up in the second hour as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. See,
That
that's
is
the
fun.
show. That's the show right there. Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases
Yes.
in the National Football League. Join the Browns season ticket member waitlist today for the best chance securing tickets for all home games in future seasons. Don't miss out. Go to clevelandbrowns.com/tickets or call 440-891-5050 to reserve your spots today. The Browns mailbag is presented by Vivid Seats, official fans experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Tweet us your questions right now to Browns_daily. Use the hashtag AskCBD. This one from Enough from the Clown.
Yeah.
Not so much of an Ask CBD, more of just a statement. He says he wants to give a shout-out to Mount Union, the Purple Raiders men's basketball team, playing for a natty tomorrow. They're good at football. I didn't know that they were good at basketball, too, so good job out of them. Good luck.
Apparently. Let's go. Yes.
Pride of Alliance. Home of
Go
the great
on.
BJ Robb. Here's one from Anman248. With all the Teen Wolf talk 2 weeks ago, it raises the question, Pamela Wells or Boof? This one is this is so in my wheelhouse. Yeah, it's Pamela Wells by 1,000 miles. The fact that that was even of any sort of discussion is lunacy.
I think you find it offensive, to be honest with
I
you.
kind of do. Like, it's not particularly close.
Hold on. And you're saying you're going Pamela?
Yeah.
Pamela my ding dong? Yeah.
I don't know if you can say that.
I think so.
You did.
Lisa Boof Marconi.
Yeah. Come on, man. Styles was the guy that had the operation. He was like 24, hanging around with high school kids, driving around a bus.
Rupert Styles Stilinski.
So apparently that guy changed his name to Styles. He leaned into it
after the film?
after the film. Yeah. That's another one of those, man, in the 80s, just mountains of narcotics that green light things.
It's really not okay when they you go to look at the cast
Yeah.
and then they just show you pictures of them today. Like, no, I need to see what they look like in the film to have a real understanding. Problem is there's a Netflix show of Teen Wolf, which is unbelievable to me that's happening.
Top right.
Uh-huh.
Or top left. Sorry, top
Uh-huh.
left.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
in.
That's in it. Yeah.
That's in it.
Where's Boof?
I mean, come on, dude. Let's have a real conversation. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Come
Oh,
on.
that's
That's
listen,
it. That's the
certain
case
people-
closed. On to the next. Next on the docket.
certain people have wheelhouses.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's an
That's-
all wheelhouse. That's
your-
not
that's,
a.
That's more your wheels.
That's everybody.
You're saying it should be universal?
I'm just saying, in comparison to a boof wheelhouse,
Yeah.
very limited.
Yeah, limited on Boof.
Here, I'll pull it up for you. I mean, come on. What are we doing? That's not a fair fight.
No. That's
It's a spoon to a gunfight
it's
situation.
apples and tacos.
Yeah, absolutely is. Another one, as a lover of dogs, I'm interested if you have any swagger stories or interactions of note. Beautiful dogs. They are gorgeous dogs, the swagger dogs. He's not in here much. You would have more dealings with him on the sidelines than I would.
We're on to what, Swagger Jr.? SJ?
Yeah, there was a burial.
Yeah. Sad. There was. But like a phoenix, SJ has risen from the ashes. Yeah.
Do you have any?
No.
Well, you got to give me more than that. He's running around pouncing around down there.
I mean, he's a fine specimen. I'm in the sky now
No, but you weren't.
I'm
There
not
was a
running
time
around
when you were
with-
down there.
with Swagger. I was down there with, I think, the real Swagger.
Chad wants to know what's the best way to get a burner at wide receiver, trade for one, sign in free agency, or wait for the draft.
Great question. I think if you want one that you know is going to be legitimate, you trade for one. I think that signing one, you have some guys, but that'll be pretty limited. Let's see. Who knows? But I do think, I think that you got it. My guess is to get the kind of guy you're talking about that would be a monster impact player that can become a true, top receiver for you, or a number one, number two, you're going to have to go ahead and make a move there.
You have to get, like we've said 100 times, like we're long past the point of like waiting for someone to be good.
Correct. No,
So
we need
trade
that.
for one
Yeah.
is the answer. I mean, it's McCole Hardman, and then that's kind of it
Yeah.
in free agency. So you're either going to
I mean, there
trade
are
for
guys
one
who
or
would be good specialists. Like a Goodwin would be a one-trick pony vertical guy. and he's a specialist in that regard. But yeah, that's it. That's all you could do.
Yeah. I think you need a weapon.
I'm with you.
So however, you need someone who makes defenses think twice, and you need another weapon for Deshaun Watson.
I'm with you.
This one from the Clown. If we all agree St. Patrick's Day food isn't that alluring, what would you say is your favorite holiday? Christmas for food.
Christmas, no doubt. By the way,
We've said many times about Thanksgiving and the overrated nature of it. Honestly, the Thanksgiving argument, although I think most people think Thanksgiving is great from a food standpoint, I disagree.
Yep.
But I think
Totally
one of the arguments that we always made about Thanksgiving is one that applies to St. Patrick's Day as well, in that you don't ever see any of those items on a menu either. They're not on a menu. That's the one.
Hey, come have a oven roasted turkey.
Come have an oven roasted turkey with
$38.
some stuffing and
Mashed
green
potatoes.
bean casserole. That's never going to be on a menu.
Not on a menu.
It's
no.
because no one wants it except for that one day.
Yeah.
The same is true of St. Patrick's Day. Same thing.
By the way, got to shout out Billy Morris and then also Chris on Twitter. The beer I was thinking of was Boddington's Pub Ale. That's the one. That's what I was thinking of. It's like a Guinness but golden.
It comes in a fantastic yellow can.
It's a beautiful yellow can. Yeah.
Tommy asks, what's one TV show from your youth that gives you the biggest sense of nostalgia?
What's
He
the
says
one
likely
thing from my youth? What?
Yeah, he said, what's the one TV show from your youth that gives you the biggest sense of nostalgia?
I mean, the first thing that popped into my mind was Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I mean, there's two eras, right? Like really little kid.
Real Little Kid would have been the cartoons on like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, that would have been a big hit. Would have probably, and then if you want to go like shows that were on TV, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, like those were the shows of consequence when I was
Family
very little.
Ties.
I was more of a Growing Pains guy. I
yeah.
like Kirk Cameron a lot.
I like
he was
Silver
pretty funny.
Spoons, little Rick Schroeder.
Sure, that didn't end well for everybody on that show.
No. Different
Alex
Strokes.
P. Keaton was a big guy. Loved that. Loved Different Strokes. All of those were great. My dad liked Cheers, so I'd watch Cheers
Yeah,
a
sure,
lot.
Sure.
And then the next group would have been the Saved by the Bell 90210
Yeah.
era.
There
That
was a
big one.
cartoon that I don't remember what it was, but I remember loving it where, like in the opening credits or whatever, there was a battleship, what looked like a World War II battleship, but it was in space and it would shoot like lasers, and I thought that was pretty sweet.
Is you talking about a cartoon that did this?
Yeah.
I got nothing on that. I'm sure it was in that Saturday morning.
Yeah, it had to be.
That's going to be a tough Google. I'm just going to warn you. I feel like that's a rabbit hole where I'm going to lose you for 40 minutes.
Battleship. in
There's no
space
way that ends
shooting
well.
lasers.
Cartoon, battleship, space, lasers.
I'm gonna give it one. I'm
No,
gonna give it a one
I don't
Google.
want to because you won't
I wa-
stop.
I
You're
wa-
not a
yeah, I
quitter.
will- yeah.
You'll keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
There's no way out of it.
In space.
In response, this is from Darren. In response to my recent Arizona trip, lucky you, I'm now obsessed with finding the best street tacos here in Cleveland. Best street tacos in Cleveland.
They say the best street tacos in Cleveland are at the grocery store, La Plaza.
Oh, that's right.
La Plaza.
You know what I would say about, and it feels like we have had a real renaissance with that style of fare, not just tacos, but tequilas and so forth and so on. By the way, had a fantastic Grand Coromina
Yeah.
last night that was delicious as a
Oh,
tequila. But I digress. I think you can almost make anything a taco and it's a win.
Totally. Yes.
Any
Don't
sort of
limit
protein,
yourself.
don't limit yourself. Any protein with a corn. I'm just a big corn tortilla guy. Some people like flour. I like corn. But once you're in that world, buddy, you got to live. I had some fantastic grouper tacos at the club the other night. They were delicious.
You can put fish in there. You can put steak in
great.
there. You
Blackened
can put shrimp in
grouper.
there. You can put whatever you want.
A little bit of avocado.
So
Delicious.
I think I've gotten it. Space Battleship Yamato. It was an anime show that was dubbed into English. That's what it was.
1,000 guesses. Wouldn't have got there.
Me neither.
Would not have had that one. I could have had He-Man. I could have had.
Was it in He-Man? No, it was like.
No, I'm saying these are the ones I would have been familiar with.
Sure.
I remember
Star
Mask.
Blazers is what it was called.
Star Blazers.
Star Blazers is what it was called in the U.S. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing on that. All right.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
I loved it.
Anything else you want to ask
Look
us?
at this. I said a battleship in the sky shot lasers.
I mean, you did nail it.
Yeah. It wasn't a rabbit hole. I knew it.
No, you got there quickly. Good job to you. I thought that was 40 minutes,
Nope.
but you were able to get there in one search.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to ask
Google,
us?
amazing. Okay. Is it
Okay, I'm writing this down.
the biggest injustice in Oscars history that Maverick didn't win Best Picture, that he didn't win Best Actor, that Goose's son didn't win Best Supporting Actor.
What
that
about
she didn't
Kilmer?
Win. Kilmer, fine. Give them all. John
Powell.
Hamm, everybody.
Glenn
that was
Powell.
movie perfection. In fact, I think the industry should stop. There should never be another movie made. That was perfect. You went to the movie, not one person left there thinking anything other than this was perfect.
This is great.
I'm so happy. I feel wonderful about life. I feel wonderful about myself. I feel wonderful about America. By the way, they shot down the director, shot down the rumor that he was dead. False. Nice, cute narrative. Wrong. It gets jobbed. It went sound. Jobbed.
I was having a
How about that for a question?
well, that was more of a statement, and that's classic you with leading. So but yes, I concur. In the words of DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can, I concur. This is what happens though. So I was having a conversation and with this dude I know who does some film review stuff, and he's talking about Banshees of Inisherin or whatever. And I said, yeah, it's making the rounds on HBO. I watched for 20 minutes the other day, and I was like, man, he's like, oh, that was a tremendous film. I'm like, you're trying to tell me, because then I watched the end of it and I saw how it ended. So you're trying to tell me that watching Maverick was less enjoyable than watching the Banshees of Inisherin.
Get out of here.
Stop it.
Stop.
Stop it. It was it was tremendous in every way. It was the right thing to do. They blew it, boy. Maverick was top. Cruise wasn't even nominated.
It's a disgrace.
And I'm going to tell you something. There's nobody else who could have played that part. Not just because he was the previous, but just in terms of the charisma, all of it, straight through. It's only him.
Only him. It called for the actor to fly his own plane at the end. He did it. Who else is doing that? I don't
Nobody.
know.
Nobody.
And nothing? Bubkiss? Are you kidding
It's
me?
an embarrassment.
By the way, Donald Parham re-signing with the Chargers. It's 221, 62 degrees and rainy.
This is what it is. All right.
That's my private parts right there. Remember? He's like,
No, I do. I remember it quite well.
Like, I think.
What was his name? He had the summer stock.
Well, that guy, but he had to do. Remember, they made him do the time.
Oh,
every-
yeah,
or
yeah,
the weather every like 15 minutes, and he's in the middle of like talking about like a tragedy.
Very serious
that was,
tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, it's 222, 52 degrees and rainy. Then he goes right back to it.
All right, very good. We'll go around the NFL. We'll get you set on what's happened this week in the AFC North as well on a St. Patrick's Day edition. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. question?
Yes.
No, did you have one?
Yeah, from Enough from the Clown. It says, as
Okay.
a connoisseur of bourbon, Uncle Bo, what is your take on Rise? Are you a fan?
Spicier in nature. Yeah, I like a lot of. There's a lot of great ryes out there. I used to say a lot of times I would do a bullet rye old fashioned. Is the one that's always very, very available. Angel's Envy makes a very, very good rye. I'll tell you, there's High West. That's kind of their specialty. Is in the ryes.
Is that a Colorado?
I want to say Utah.
Utah? I know.
Yeah. Yeah, they out there. They've got
Sure.
a Yippee-Ki-Yay rye that's very, very nice.
We had it in
Where were
Indianapolis.
we?
In
In
Indianapolis.
Indy, we had that. Yeah,
2
that
years
was a
ago.
real delight.
Or maybe even right before COVID. Could have been 3 years ago.
Time flies,
We
brother.
were sitting at that bar
was
at that
that?
restaurant.
You said it.
I don't know which restaurant it was, but
Or which
I can
bar?
picture it. No, it was the bar of the restaurant. It wasn't
downtown?
Elmo's. It was downtown. We walked upstairs into it, and then the bar was like a white bars, huge bar, TVs, and we sat there and watched some hoops. And
Where the hell was that? That wasn't upstairs at Elmo's?
no, it was not Elmo's. There's the bar at Elmo's is like just the one.
You're
straight
right.
in
There
the
was
front.
that place that we went upstairs
We
to.
walked
It's
up.
right
It was
there
a good
by
steakhouse, Ocean, or some.
Yeah, it was
something.
right there by
It was close.
it's in that vicinity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true. All right, around the NFL, Mike Gesicki agreed to terms with the Patriots on a 1-year. I just don't understand what the Patriots' operation is in terms of.
He's a
player
good
acquisition.
receiver.
He is. I just don't understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it feels like a lot.
Feels like a lot going on. Darius Slay agrees to a 3-year, $42 million deal to stay with the Eagles. So
They like said goodbye to him.
goodbye. Yeah, that was it. He ran it right back. So I don't know if there wasn't the market. I said this. We were talking about this out of the Super Bowl. We were talking about like all of the guys they had to bring back in free agency. For whatever reason, and it's a hole in my resume. I've never been to Philadelphia. I don't have a point of reference on it. But people love playing there.
Yep.
They have always. It's always been a place where NFL players want to go play. It's been this way my whole life. Even though they don't have all the Super Bowl success. It's not warm weather. It's not tax-free state. But there's something about that place that people love. I mean, they've had several times where if it comes to free agency, they're in the mix. People want to go there.
Well,
People love it.
Howie Roseman's excellent.
Sure.
It is a tremendous sports town. It's much in the same way that, Bernie, for example, is, the king of Cleveland in a lot of ways. Like Ryan Westbrook being in Philly with him, it was like they just love their Philly guys.
Yeah.
And
that's the one, right? The Eagles even more than it's a big Flyers town.
big Flyers town. And the complexes,
And then
they're
Phillies,
all
all kind of running.
they're all right there.
Yeah.
I've been there for football. They love the Sixers too. I mean, it's a big Sixers town, obviously. It's just a great sports town. It's a cool city, and there's some cool areas in it where you can go get in the mix and have a lot of fun.
What's the best climate, best sports town? Where's that cross section? What's the furthest south you can go where the climate's great, but it's still a great sports town? So as you're thinking, the genesis of this was the Columbus Blue Jackets NHL hockey team. They're on a West Coast swing. They're in San Jose. They're in Los Angeles. So they played the Kings last night. They play the Anaheim Ducks tonight. And I was talking to a buddy of mine who's on the broadcast. I said, does anybody in Anaheim care about the Ducks? He's like, no. Because why would they? That's Newport Beach, Manhattan Beach, Orange County. Like, it's gorgeous. You want me to leave the sun's still up. It's 72 degrees. You want me to leave that to go sit in an ice rink?
No thanks.
I'm good. So there it is. What's the southernmost best sports city?
So I don't know that I'm going southernmost, but I think it's got great weather. I think people would agree. It's a place that people like to go. It's a destination. Denver. It's a great sports town.
But I think the weather
is bad.
I'm going to be honest with you. You know where it is? I think what it is? I think it's your birthplace. I think it's the Bay Area.
The Bay Area.
And the weather there's not pristine. I mean, it's
San Francisco.
It's good.
They will
But that is a great sports town with pretty dang good weather.
Yes.
But it's not Santa Barbara, but it's nice. It's good. Because everything else, like everything in the South. I mean, Atlanta's a good college football town.
It's not,
but
a great
that's
sports
it.
town.
It's not a great sports town. Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, none of them. I can't imagine Nashville.
Is Dallas?
Yeah.
I mean, they love the Cowboys.
Dallas probably is. Texas. That's probably. They love the Cowboys for sure. I don't know if they care about the rest of it.
The Rangers, the Stars,
Mavericks.
They came out for the Mavericks. When the
I'm sure
Mavericks
they
were good.
everybody can front run. I'm
Totally.
saying, like,
Just a great
in
sports
order to
town.
be a great sports town, do you show up when they suck? That's great sports town.
great
like
sports
when you
towns
did
are all
Philly,
in the north and
They're
the
all in the
northeast.
north. Right. So that's why I thought it was an interesting question. The furthest south, best weather, best sports town. I think I feel very I think it's Bay Area. That's what I'm going with.
Okay. You don't think Denver's weather is good enough?
No, because there's all winter. So here's the problem with Denver. When it's winter, if you live in Denver, it's not like you're walking out your backyard to the slopes. It's a hike.
It's a couple hours.
Yeah, it's the closest one. I think is a little over an hour from downtown to get up into the mountains where you can ski.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live in Denver, what else are you going to do in January on a Wednesday? Go watch a basketball game.
Sure.
Go watch a hockey game. So that's why I think they're disqualified.
Okay.
I like their climate, but I think I like San Francisco. Dallas is one. Texas almost feels like its own rules. But
Yeah.
San Francisco is the one that came to me, and you'd know better than me. But to me, it feels like a great sports town. It seems like people really care about their Giants, their Niners, the Warriors. Even before they had this Steph Clay run, the Warriors had legendary crowds in Oakland for years, 30 years. Run TMC,
yeah,
but
Run
then even
TMC.
in between, like the Baron Davis teams.
Oh yeah.
They were great. Bears are signing Panthers running back Dante Foreman and ex-Packers tight end Robert Tonyan to their roster. Bears need a back.
I
little
like
bit.
that, by the way.
Foreman and Tonyan. What's that?
Well, I like Foreman. Foreman
Yeah.
to replace Montgomery fits in with Herbert. He gives them that power back complement to Herbert. And then Tanyan's a good receiver. And now they still have Cole Kmet, right? So they can go some two tight end stuff with Fields,
Yeah.
with DJ Moore and
DJ
Mooney.
Moore and yeah,
No, I'm guessing. I still think they're going to draft a receiver.
I would think so too. Yeah.
Wouldn't you give him?
I'd give him
Jackson's-
Jackson Smith and Jigba and just
That's
forget
right.
about it. Put him in the slot and don't worry about it.
There, amen.
You're all set up. Colts have
Safe.
agreed to terms with you're safe, pal. With Gardner Minshew, 1 year, 3.5. So that's a reunion there.
Who's going to be our backup quarterback?
Dobbs. I mean, that's not scores. It's just the first thing that popped into mind that makes sense.
For sure, but I feel like might behoove us to
get that
to
person.
secure that person.
I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, I guess the truth is,
You
like,
got time.
if he gets hurt,
If he gets, since you're done.
it's it.
We
Dobbs-
can't even talk like that though.
Yeah,
I don't.
stop it.
We can't do that.
I don't
Stop
talk
it.
about it. Stop it.
Giants have re-signed Darius Slayton, 2 years, $12 million deal. They also signed Paris Campbell on a 1 year deal. Yesterday we had
They
that.
have a lot of receivers there.
They
it's
do.
Kind of an odd mix.
It is, yeah. Bills released Isaiah McKenzie. Seahawks have signed former Steelers first-round pick Devin Bush to a 1 year deal. He got hurt, right?
ACL against us.
Yeah. He was really good.
Yeah, they blasted us that game. That was
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh in 2020. I think we lost them like 31 or 35 to 6 or 7, and he got tore his ACL in that game. He was a stud in Michigan.
He was good early on there.
Yes, he was good prior.
And then
yeah.
the injuries get you in a way, and then that's kind of the end of it. That's the way that thing goes.
Yeah.
A reaction to the signing of Orlando Brown yesterday. Bengals left tackle Jonah Williams requested a trade from the team today.
Set him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Wilson, by the way, who covers the league but is very plugged in Houston, said that the Jordan Akins visit is has had a very strong visit
There you go.
with us.
Very good. Updates from March Madness. Michigan State has moved on. They beat Big Ten rival USC 72-62
You love saying that.
in that one. I do.
It is a treat for you. I can see you
I
light
like
up.
it. I
Yeah.
like it. I
I
like
bet.
saying it. Yeah. I like the fact that no one's thought about how exactly logistically it's all going to work. Like when the USC men's baseball team is playing a weekend series in Piscataway against Rutgers, and then they're going to play back home on a Tuesday in their non-conference play, and then play the next weekend in Iowa City.
Bo,
How are they going to
you
make that
said it
work,
earlier.
Coach?
Nobody cares about that. They care about football.
I understand that, but a lot of the profit that they make in football is going to be paying for all this stuff.
They'll be down there in
They gotta
at
get-
Greyhawk.
You
playing
watch
golf.
this. You watch this. There's going to be 2 more. Got to be. Does look like your precious Pac-12 is going to survive for the next 3 or 4 years, though. About ready to get a new deal done.
Can we just get Arizona into a conference of consequence, please?
Arizona president said this week, and it's actually pretty remarkable. I don't know which one of those institutions is considered the better from Arizona and Arizona State, but both presidents spoke this week, and the president of Arizona had a really, I thought, a great point. He said that when the Big 12, when Oklahoma and Texas left the Big 12, that was our opportunity to poach the teams we wanted from the Big 12 into our league and go to a Pac-20 or a Big Pac or whatever. And essentially, we blew it, boy. And he's right.
Yeah.
Because the Pac-12 has better brands than the Big 12.
Yeah.
And you could have added Kansas, Kansas State, Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech, Iowa State, and all of a sudden now they would have had a real inventory.
It would have been a decent football conference, but it would have been a very
elite
good
basketball. The basketball would have been unbelievable.
Yep.
The problem is the Pac-12, Pac-10 or 12 or whatever they're going to be called. Those presidents did not want to lower their league with some of those teams' academic profiles.
Yeah, well,
so
now they're going to be.
So now they're not going to have a league. So enjoy your academic profile then.
Sometimes.
A couple other updates: Xavier beating Kennesaw State 63-61. About 3 minutes to go in that one. Baylor down 1. That is in the South region where already Arizona is out.
Baylor's the 3.
Baylor's the 3. They're down 1 to UC Santa Barbara out there. Both of the upsets are out there. Love that nickname.
Yeah.
What a great place. Can you imagine how proud you'd be?
Yeah, one of the guys who was a big-time player at my high school, Doug Muse, went to UCSB. And
they got a Zorro-like mascot. Like it's a Zorro hat.
And then they would throw, I think after the first basket of a game for a long time. I don't think they do this anymore. I'd imagine that this feels like something that would have been axed by the no fun
through
people.
Swords?
No, they would throw tortillas. After the home team scored their first basket, they'd pelt the floor with tortillas.
Yeah, I like that. It's very good.
I imagine that doesn't happen anymore.
No, I wouldn't think so. No. So Baylor's down 1. Princeton beat Arizona, so they're out of that, and Virginia's out of that. So the 2 and the 4, the 2 and the 4 are already out. That's the Alabama region.
Yeah,
so Alabama's in, right? And meantime, they've got all the murder stuff around them.
Yeah,
so that's going to be pure joy for everybody for the next month. And St. Mary's and VCU tied 21-21. All right,
St. Mary's, alma mater of both of my parents.
Really?
Yeah.
Gales.
The Gales, sure.
How about that? Are you aware that if St. Mary's wins and Iona wins, it'll be Gales versus Gales in round 2?
First time ever.
Rick Pitino coaching Iona.
What?
That's right.
He likes coaching that much that he's like, I'm going to coach at Iona?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, he got thrown out at Louisville.
Yeah.
So he's in Europe. Now he's coached Iona for the last couple of years. They've been really good. Shocking because he can really coach. And now it's very possible he's going to end up at St. John's.
Doesn't he have plenty of money?
What's his why?
I don't know.
He likes coaching. He's good at it. What else
he
can do?
He's going to bring the.
You can only
what
play
is
so
St.
much
John's
golf.
right? Are they the Red Storm still?
Yeah.
Chris Mullen, Felipe Lopez.
Elite. Absolutely elite.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at what the AFC North has done in free agency a week in. That's coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Let's get help getting back in the game. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Here's the rest of the AFC North and their moves through free agency. The Steelers have lost Devin Bush, Cam Sutton, Robert Spillane. They've kept Larry Ogunjobi and DeMonte Kazi. Patrick Peterson comes in as well, and Cole Holcomb added.
Who's a good linebacker,
Yeah.
Cole Holcomb.
Yep. The Ravens, I mean, they've lost Ben Powers and Josh Oliver. Trayvon Mullen coming in, or staying rather, at corner. Theirs will just be Lamar.
And Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell.
Is also, at this point, I mean, he's a free agent. They had to let him go. Powers is a big loss for their offensive line. The team that obviously,
The most volatile is Cincinnati.
yeah. And they've lost, this isn't even the full list, Bates, Von Bell, P. Ryan, Hayden Hurst.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going to lose Jonah Williams, which they don't seem to care about. They got Pratt to stay, and then they signed Orlando Brown, which is probably the biggest move that anybody in our division has made.
He's the best new player in the division.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is a very fair statement to make.
Well, it was one of those things where you wondered if they were going to do something because of, I think, what was that, Tuesday show when he said, like, they came back a little, we've gotten a little better. And then they do the Orlando Brown deal, and then that solidifies a lot for them.
It does. It does. I mean, and they put so many assets into that offensive line a year ago.
They did.
I do think that this signing, though, in 2 years, and look, you could say the cap is not real, and maybe they'll figure out a way, but it certainly makes it feel like it will be difficult to keep Higgins, to have the contract of Higgins, to have a left tackle, a quarterback, and 2 marquee receivers. And now Higgins won't get what Chase got, but I'll tell you what, when Chase was out, he was leading the league in receiving yards. Like, he is somebody else's one.
Well, what's an example where a team's been able to keep – it feels like that always gets broken up. Like, you're not able to – nowadays.
Yeah.
Like in the old days, you could keep, Taylor and Rice, or you could keep Harper and Irvin.
But you wouldn't have a premium –
you wouldn't be able to –
a left tackle
premiums.
and
No.
a left tackle that you're paying
No.
top dollar.
No.
You got to have somebody in there has got to be on the rookie deal.
Is there an example of someone we're trying to think. Is there an example of a team that had 2 guys like that at receiver at one position without having a quarterback or somebody on a rookie deal? It's very rare. I'm racking my head trying to think of it. It's very rare.
Because Justin Jefferson's on a rookie deal in Minnesota, so you had Cousins, Jefferson, Darrisaw's on a rookie deal. And
when
then
CeeDee Lamb was in Dallas with Amari. CeeDee was on the rookie deal.
And then they had Taron Armstead, but CeeDee was on a rookie deal. And that's why they got one of the reasons they
had to.
Yeah. Although, in retrospect, they probably would be. I mean, if they're going to go trade for Jerry Jeudy, but he's on a rookie deal still this year, they would have been better off, obviously, keeping Amari. But very glad that he's here with us because.
Just like the Eagles, how they ended up with.
Guy's quite good.
Devonta Smith's on a rookie deal.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just tough. It's tough to do. Like, they almost have to say, like, they have to, like, almost get them all in a room and say, look, we need every one of you to give us a break.
Yeah.
If you want to stay together, Higgins, Chase, Burrow, all of you need to give us a break in order to make it work. And even then, I don't know.
And nobody should ever do that.
No.
And I would even – it's just this business is, to your point, it is so fleeting. Nobody should ever do that. You got to get that bag while you can. That's just the nature of the business. You got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
You absolutely do. So that's where you stand a week in free agency. The Bengals are most volatile, but I think in the end they knew they were – I think for them the only thing that maybe they're a little surprised about was – and I think they're fine with it, and Von Bell's very, very replaceable. I think Hurst is the one that they would have liked to have kept, but also acknowledging that they had a number and he exceeded it. Everything else I think was very much according to plan for them.
Yep.
And the Orlando Brown one is kind of a surprise for them. So –
agreed. And a lot of people thought that all the restructuring that was happening in Buffalo to clear all their spaces, that they were going to go make a run at Orlando Brown, but apparently that did not happen.
No, it did not. All right, coming up next, we'll get you updated on the NCAA tournament stuff, plus we'll have Fergal Murray, our guy from Guinness, with how to pour a perfect pint of Guinness on this St. Patrick's Day. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Fergal Murray, Guinness Master Distiller.
Select a clean, dry, branded glass. Grab hold of the glass firmly, put your finger on the hop. Take it at a 45-degree angle, grab hold of the tap, and on a nice, smooth flow, allow the beer to go into the glass. As the liquid goes into the glass, you'll hear that fantastic hiss. Straighten up the glass, bring it up towards the top of the harp, and then a nice, slow, smooth stop. Bring the glass down and allow it to settle. Here's where you get that fantastic cascade and surge with the nitrogen bubbles lying dormant in the beer, now come out of solution, and they try to form a wonderful creamy head. That gives us this wonderful look that we can then top up later on and create a dome across the top. And once settled, you take the glass back, hold it nice and straight, push the tap away from you and allow the beer to flow in nice and slowly, and take the creamy head proud
I don't
of
remember
the
the
rim.
techno under Fergal.
Perfect in every way. And now part two of a great Guinness experience, the reverence. It's that visual impact you get when you drink a pint with your eyes first and realize you've made the right choice.
You got to savor it.
And the third part of the great Guinness experience is the savor
There you go.
and how to drink a perfect pint of Guinness.
Take your time.
You get the elbow out. You got to get that elbow out.
First of all, you never look down at the pint of Guinness.
Never.
You always look to the
Horizon.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Bring that elbow up.
Elbow up. Horizon.
Bring the glass to your lips
That's right.
and not you to the glass. And then break the seal, as I call it. Get that cream on your lips.
That's it. Good job out of you, Paulus.
And now enough liquid to flow under the head to energize those taste buds.
I'm fading out here.
This is the malt at the front of the tongue, the roastiness at the
Yeah,
side, and then the bitterness at the back of
bitterness
the
in the
throat.
back of the throat.
You get that savor, that Guinness.
The
Unbelievable.
savor's the key to it. I don't remember, Paulus, I could have sent you, that was not the option that I was thinking. It's possible much of it was accomplished, but I don't remember the techno in the back. It was usually much more of a,
It added to the whole vibe. It was like
it
Club
did.
Guinness.
It was a totally,
It was nice.
It was very much Club Guinness. It was not
Yeah.
what I thought it was going to
We
be
were
on that.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah, it was very, very
We're
exciting.
supposed to savor, not ounce with it.
Yeah, you can't. It's,
Think of
yeah. You got to get the elbow
ounce,
out.
ounce, ounce,
Never look down at your pint. Always look to the horizon.
Don't bring yourself
Savor.
to the glass. Bring the glass to you.
Proud. Chest out. Proud.
We're proud of all of you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Be safe out there, kids.
Especially to Jim Donovan.
Yes.
The voice.
The voice.
The great voice.
Somebody tweeted me and they're like, "Well, you're the senior media broadcaster. Isn't Jim the senior media broadcaster?" I'm like, "No, he doesn't have a
He's the voice.
30.
he doesn't have a title, a ridiculously made up title like that. He's the
Come
voice.
on, he's
period.
the voice. Jim
That's
Donovan,
it.
the voice.
The
That's
voice.
it.
That's
That's
it.
the list.
There
Have a
it
great
is.
St. Patrick's Day. Have a great weekend.
Yes.
The next level is next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.